Okay everybody, welcome back to our sub 2-hour playthrough of Super Metroid. This is part 3, the finale. We will go through to the end of this game here. It's going to be a little bit longer than the last two parts, but no big deal. And when you backtrack, make sure you go through this hidden metal door here. It wasn't available the first time we came through, but that was on purpose. But basically what we're going to do here is backtrack. This is a very simple section, minus a couple enemies here and spikes. This is just basically testing to ensure that you have the space jump here, because as you can see, there's a lot of spikes. You're going to take a lot of damage if you can't get through without it. So be very cautious of this and just space jump your way through. Kill the enemies if you want to, rebuild, restock your super missile supply, and don't fall on the spikes like this. I don't know why I'm failing and falling, but hey, it is what it is, as we always like to say. Okay, so the next big thing we got to worry about doing here in this run is getting the plasma beam. There are other things in Meridia that you could get, like the spring ball, for instance, but that is not necessary. That's more of a luxury than anything else. You can certainly get through many parts of this game, if not all of them, without the spring ball and a little bit of effort, so not a big deal. You can use this point to restock. That's a spawn point with a lot of enemies here. And here we are. This is the area where you're going to be very close to getting the plasma beam. Just boost yourself all the way up. That was a nice little shine spark up to the ceiling there. Saved us a little bit of time, but energy is kind of low. In case you aren't aware, every time you do a shine spark, it does cost you some energy, so you have to be careful of that. And this is the door we want to go into right here. A little bit of space jumping will get us up there, and that's a big reason why we couldn't get here previously. Alright, now we're going to keep jumping up and around. Eventually, this passage and corridor is going to take us up to the area where we can get the plasma beam. And you'll see there are some extremely tough enemies up here that can only be killed by the plasma beam. So for good reason, we couldn't get up here previously. So go up on and around. I don't know why we just fell and jumped off there, but here we are. Go through the door. And I believe this is the area where we can get the plasma beam. Is it right in through here? No, it's through the next area. So we got some little jelly eggs here we're going to blast through. It's a nice little way to refill your health. And yes, this is the room, so go all the way down to the bottom right, and here's going to be your pickup for the plasma beam. By far the best beam in the entire game outside of the hyper beam. It is going to replace the spazer if I'm not mistaken, so you're going to lose that ability, but considering how powerful the plasma beam is, it's really not that big of a deal. So just make sure you're going to have to backtrack out of here again, obviously. Make sure you kill all the enemies in this room that can only be killed with the plasma beam. Get the pickups they give you and go ahead and exit. Check every last passage here. There's one more in the bottom left. Check them all, kill them all, and then do some backtracking here. So at this point, we've done everything we need to do. And what we're going to do again is backtrack to Norfair. But this time, we're going to go to Lower Norfair. So, wow, check how quickly it's blasting through the enemies here. That plasma beam is something else. So we're going to backtrack again to Lower Norfair. But the good thing is we're pretty close to Norfair in the first place. And all you got to do is go down a few screens, eventually left, right, wherever, and you're going to find yourself back in that familiar Norfair shaft, and you can start making the descent into Lower Norfair here. So just watch as we go all the way back. I'll talk to you again once we get into the Norfair shaft. Okay, welcome back to Norfair yet again, and thankfully this is the last time we will ever be coming down into Norfair here. We will be going into Lower Norfair, of course. Now, you don't have to go in here, but if you're not too familiar with the map, again, this is not going to kill your time that badly. It just takes a couple of seconds. So if you want to get a map, please feel free to do so. And right about here, I'm just not sure what I want to do. And considering I am not as familiar with this game as most of you probably are, I'm making the choice to just go ahead and get this map right here. Now, obviously, we're not going to be looking for 100% playthrough map exposure here, but just in case you don't know where you're going and you want the help, why not? Now, clearly we're going into Lower Norfair, so the way you get there is you go over into the save point area and continue on past it. You are going to be using the speed boost, the speed dash here, so go ahead and do it. Destroy everything there, one of my favorite parts of the game. And just continue on over. Now, we're going to be continuing over here. We're going to be going down, of course, into Lower Norfair. Now, clearly, if you're going to go over there, you need the wave beam. You won't be able to shoot through there. And just continue on down. You're going to have some tougher enemies, of course. Having that plasma beam makes this so much easier. And here, just keep following the path. You're going to have a lot of simplistic stuff. Having an energy refill is kind of nice, I gotta say. And we're going to continue to move. Lower Norfair, of course, the entrance, if you remember correctly, is a big lava-filled area with a dragon head. And you're also going to have another area before we get way down to the final Ridley boss fight, where we have another energy tank to pick up. So by the time we hit Ridley, we're going to have 7 energy tanks in our possession here. So we'll show you where that last one is. It's not going to be for a little bit here, but it will be coming up. This, of course, you could opt to use the grappling beam if you don't have the space jump, which would be incredibly stupid because the space jump saves you so much time and hassle. So please make sure you fight Draygon and go through Meridia first before coming down here. It'll make your life a lot easier and simpler. So keep on coming on through. We're going to go through this power bomb door, and eventually, this is the area I was talking about. Yes, if you didn't have the gravity suit, you would be taking damage going through this lava here. It's not the end of the world if you don't have it, but of course, you kind of have to have it to go through water in areas like this if you want to move at regular speed. So please make life easy and just get it. Okay, here we are. This is the entrance to Lower Norfair. Now, I will tell you up in advance, there was a time where I did get lost here and lost my bearings and forgot where to go, so we are going to skip past that when we come to it. And actually, this was it right here, I believe. Yep, initially we go to the right, but what you're supposed to do here is go over to the left. If you go to the right, you get stuck in an area which doesn't really take you anywhere, so we're going to bypass this and come right back to the area where we should have gone, which is starting to the left. Okay, let's try this again. Sorry about that, everybody. We're going to continue left this time, and as you can see, this section right here can get pretty nasty if you don't have the spin jump, but thankfully we do, and we can bypass all this garbage. So just continue moving on past it all. Now here, you're going to have a section with lava that will damage you no matter what kind of suit Samus has. So what do? You go across it, you're going to bust this area with a power bomb, and here's another Chorizo statue. Just curl up into a ball like you did with the one in the wrecked ship. The only difference here is that instead of taking you through a spiked area, this one is going to drain the deadly lava, allowing you to progress further. So thank you very much. Drop all the way down. There's really nothing else over here, so drop through the floor. You're going to bomb a couple of bricks here, and we're going to be fighting a sub-boss very, very soon. Once you get through this area, you're going to have a few enemies that you can kill for some energy power-ups if you need them. Go ahead, take what you need if you need it, and get ready for a nice little sub-boss battle here. It's not quite Ridley, not yet, but it will prep you for what's to come. Now, very quickly, don't fall in that hole there. That is one that I usually always touch and miss and screw up, so get the missile. Missiles aren't that important right now, but you will need them for the end of the game with Mother Brain, so definitely pick them up as they are available to you. Here's a metal door, and oh, what's this? We have another fight with another Chorizo. This is a golden one, though. And the major difference is that this one has a lot more health, obviously. It can do a lot more damage, and it's got some more damaging attacks, kind of like this. So those little sonic booms, as I'll call them, do 30 damage apiece, so certainly not going to tickle you. Now, you could opt to use super missiles, but the problem with this Chorizo is that if you fire a super missile at him, he will actually grab it like a fast pitch and just kind of toss it aside like it's nothing in Child's Play. So just stick to the charge beam, stick to the charge plasma. It's a lot safer, and it actually deals a lot more damage than super missiles, if you can believe that. So boom, gone. When you're done with that one, go ahead, reclaim all the energy missiles and power bombs as you need them. Don't go through the door yet, though. Look up here. Go ahead, get your power bombs ready, jump all the way up, duck mid-flight, drop a power bomb, and then space jump yourself up here to check out that super missile upgrade. We haven't seen too many of them lately, but we do want to get a couple at least. This is one you definitely want to have. I believe this is our 3rd super missile upgrade. Yes, 15. So that should be enough for what we need. It would be nice to have a couple more, but honestly, 15 I think is enough to get through the game with a little bit of comfort here and be okay. Now right here, Screw Attack. This is arguably the best power-up in the game because it allows you to jump in combination with the space jump and make you invincible. There's virtually nothing that can touch you. And by the way, you can kill stuff with the Screw Attack as well. So check this out. Boom. Basically kills anything that you touch while you're space jumping here. It is amazing to have, an absolute must, particularly against tougher bosses like Ridley, which you will be seeing very, very soon. We're going to continue on through, and really it's just a trek over to Ridley at this point. So this is the section we came to initially, and we had to stop here because we didn't have the Screw Attack, and you can see why it's so important right now, right? So now we got it. We're going to continue on right, bust through the columns, avoid the lava, and just head on up. Now, these enemies here really can't be damaged at all unless you have the Screw Attack or Charge Beam or Super Missiles, but just go with the Screw Attack. It's safer, it saves you ammunition, so why would you not want to use it? Got a few more screens here until we get to Ridley. We're very, very close right now. Now we're going to have a tricky area right here. If you're not familiar with space jumping, wall jumping, anything like that, this could provide problems for you, but obviously we are familiar. We do have the space jump and we do have the screw attack, so we got nothing to worry about here. Just keep on moving. This screen, by the way, is going to look very familiar to another one towards the end of the game here. Now, right about here, we're getting pretty close. You're going to come on down. We are very, very close to the Ridley boss fight here. Before you go down this way, what we should have done is stayed up and over to the right, because that's going to give us access to the final energy tank that we're going to need before facing Mother Brain here. That'll give us our 7th energy tank. So excuse the mishaps here. We're just going to skip, and we'll see when we're there. Okay, my apologies for that. As I said, this is one of the couple occasions where I did forget where I was going. So, right about here, this is where you're going to get the final energy tank. You need to blast through this enemy here. Don't do what I just did. Blast through, use a missile, super missile, power bomb, something to get rid of it. I forget exactly what I did here. I think it was a missile. But anyway, another case of forgetting where we're going. Just go straight through the mouth, and then eventually you're going to go through another series of enemies with the fireflies down below. Power bomb will do it, definitely. Down below here, pay very close attention. These firefly enemies light the way, obviously. If you do what I do and you accidentally kill one or more of them, by the way, here's the final energy tank. So that gives us 7 tanks. That should be barely enough to get by Ridley comfortably, and you'll see what I mean. Don't do this, because now you're going to see we got a major problem coming up here. Getting back up there without knowing exactly where you're going presents a major, major problem. And right about here, I had the light. I could see where I was going, but there's a hallway that's kind of tough to see, and because I couldn't see it, I get stuck down here in a loop. I think I'm basically drowning and I don't know where to go. I thought I had to reset the game right here because I really didn't know what to do. But basically, you just got to keep on trying. Go straight up and over to the right until eventually you get where you need to be here. Yeah, this was kind of tedious and frustrating, so don't do what I did. Make sure you don't kill the firefly enemies. Go straight up over to the right, and eventually you will come up all the way out of there. Very annoying. A little bit more, a little bit higher. Yes, there we go. I think we're just about there. Once you get up to the platform, you'll know exactly where you're at. Again, just, yeah, don't kill the firefly enemies. That's my biggest piece of advice there. Once you get it, now you can come back down through this area here. We have 7 energy tanks, just enough to get by comfortably, I believe. In this section, I would use the screw attack. You could kill these enemies with the plasma beam, but even with the plasma beam, it takes a lot of shots to kill those things. So keep on moving down. Now we can blast on through here with regular bombs, power bombs, whatever you have. There will be opportunities to refill your energy and your missiles, so don't worry if you're a little bit low coming down here. Plus, the screw attack will keep you safe no matter what. So keep on moving down. You will need to power bomb here in order to make a platform raise over from the left. Otherwise, you got a pretty sticky situation ahead of you. So keep on blasting through. Keep on moving. These enemies aren't too tough. Just keep on moving, moving. Don't stop to smell the roses, as I like to say. Eventually, you will get to the next section here. This place needs to be a power bomb to get through. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're only a couple rooms away from having to face Ridley here. So you can go over to the left if you want, but ultimately you need to go down, straight down. I suppose having a few extra power bombs isn't going to hurt us that much, but truthfully, I would say 10 to 15, really 10 is probably enough for this run. If you need any more than that, you're basically trying to use the crystal flash to your advantage here, or you're just wasting time. 10's definitely enough. Anyway, with that in the books, take this elevator down, a couple elevators, 2 or 3 of them, get your super missile ready, make sure you got at least one, blast on through, and this, I believe, is the, if not the penultimate room. Yeah, we got 2 more rooms to go. We have some invincible enemies here that cannot be killed unless they are flashing yellow, and basically they're going to jump up at you, kind of like, not this, but here we go. Once they turn yellow, that's when it's clear to hit them. You can blast them with a super missile or a charged plasma shot. Either way will get the trick done. You can also use a very tricky Shine Spark blast up if you know how to get Samus's energy to hit them exactly. But that's kind of tricky and hard to do, so that's a good way to do it. I would say the charged plasma shots are the safest way, and then when you're waiting for the enemy to actually dive at you, you can just use the screw attack to avoid getting damaged here. If you take damage here, of course, it's not a big deal, because you can just very easily refill your energy in the next room here. You're not quite at Ridley just yet, but there we go. Here we go. Last room before Ridley. This is nothing more than a energy and missile refill in a plump yourself up kind of room, as I would pretty much say here. Do what you gotta do. Make sure that you have full energy, if nothing else. You could skimp on the regular missiles. The super missiles have to be jacked up all the way. And are we Ridley yet? Nope. Obviously, we have the eyeball room. This is it right here. Now we're very, very close. Got a few more simple enemies to kill. Here comes the eyeball. Blast it with a super. And here we go. By far, the toughest part of the run right here. And really, if you're playing for keeps or regular anyway, this is the toughest part of the game. Okay, so just like the start of the game, Ridley's going to appear, blast 3 to 4 super missiles right into his face as soon as the opportunity presents itself. Obviously, don't fall in the lava. Once those missiles are in, switch to your charge beam, and this is where you're going to do the bulk of your damage here. Blast him as much as you possibly can. If Ridley starts getting in your face, especially with that tail, use the screw attack, especially when Ridley swoops in at you to avoid taking any damage here. That's going to be the key to survival. Yes, damaging Ridley is important, but surviving is even more so. Bear in mind, we've only got 6 or 7 energy tanks here. We have just enough to comfortably survive this fight, and that's provided you're taking the proper strategies here to avoid getting killed. Basically, you're going to switch in between super missiles and charged beam shots when it is safe and appropriate here. You be the judge as to what to do. If you're on the ground and Ridley is pogo sticking and pogo balling around the room, that's when it's probably safe to use your super missile shots. I am alternating between what I feel is a safe strategy between the two. If you're able to use the charge beams, obviously do so, but you want to use super missiles on the ground because there is less recharge between the two shots, I would say. When he's up in the air, that's when you want to use your charge beam shots here. So other than that, it's alternating and knowing when it's safe to use that screw attack to jump in between and get through Ridley here unscathed. So that's what we're going to be doing for the next couple of minutes here. And ooh, we're getting dangerously low on health here with Ridley. We've already burned through 5 energy tanks. Yeah, if we were playing a little bit more safe and cautious, we could probably do this with a lot less hits taken and energy spent. But ooh, we're down to 1 energy tank left. Are we going to do this? Ho ho ho! 54 energy left. Yeah, we could have played it better, but you know what? We won. We got through, and that's all that matters here. That was almost an hour and a half down the drain, but we made it through. And guess what? We got 1 more energy tank for the road here, so that gives us 8. And considering this was the toughest part of the game by far, in my opinion, that's going to give us a little insurance policy for the road. So we're done with the hardest part of this challenge, in my honest opinion here. So it's a little bit of backtracking to get out of Lower Norfair, and all we've got to do now is make our way into Torian and face the Mother Brain, and then we've got the escape here. So with that in the rearview mirror, I think it's going to be smooth sailing all the way. So I think one thing you got to keep in mind is the retreat out of here. It's not difficult, but it can be tricky if you don't know where to go here. So there is one hidden path area that I like to take that may save us a little bit of time, and I'll show you where that is here. Once we get through that portion of the retreat, we're going to backtrack into Brinstar, and then Crateria, and then eventually we will be at Torian here. So I'll stick with you for a little bit until we get the hidden pathway that breaks off into Crateria and Brinstar here. For the time being, just keep on backtracking. You're going to have to use a power bomb to get out of here, of course. We're going to keep going back over to the right this time because we've already went left and gotten the power bomb. Just keep on moving. Plenty of health, obviously. No reason you should even be worried about taking, maybe not damage, but deaths. Again, another tricky power bomb spot is necessary here. Keep on moving on up, 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 up. Still going to do some backtracking. Lots of power bombs are necessary here. Just keep on moving, moving, moving. There will come a time, basically, you're going to backtrack to where you got that 6th or 7th energy tank with the Firefly room. And then that's where it's going to branch off and come very close to having to worry about this hidden room, I would say. Actually, it's pretty close right here. So we're going to get to the top of this room, continue to use your screw attack. These enemies give a lot of super missiles, by the way, so get them as they become available. Get a full supply pretty close to it. And we're pretty close, honestly. We're going to go over to the right, continue on up here. This is the Firefly room, if you remember this, and this is about where you're going to have this, not tricky section, but hidden section. It's going to branch off and take us back over into Brinstar, Meridia, that typical area here. So right here, here's where it is. Continue on left. We're going to go through here, and this is another hidden area of Lower Norfair, but we're almost into regular Norfair here, if we're not already. And right over here, yeah, we're pretty much there at this point. So yes, we have a tricky lava section. You're going to take a little bit of damage, but it's okay. Just keep on moving. blasting on through, rolling on through. It's alright, don't worry, you will take a little bit of damage. You got some of these tricky enemies that require the screw attack in order to destroy them. Yeah, you can blast them with the regular beam, but why would you want to when you can just do it this way? Power bomb through, just continue going up over to the left, and eventually you will be out of the way. And you'll notice if you look up north, we're into regular Norfair here right now. So continue to bomb through, break through, power bomb through. We are in regular Norfair. Just keep on doing this, and eventually things are going to start to look familiar here. You will probably, if you can believe this or not, you will get back into that regular Norfair shaft again. Yes, is this looking familiar? Right below us was the wave beam room, if you're keeping tabs and you have a good photographic memory here. Oh yeah, we know where we're at now. If you wanted to, up in that room up there is another area for a super missile, I believe, regular missile, whatever it was. I can't remember at this point, but it doesn't matter. We have plenty of items and missiles. Honestly, a few more missiles wouldn't be bad just for an insurance policy against Mother Brain, but we're in a pretty good spot right now. Even if we ran out, I think we would be fine. So just continue to backtrack until you get to the Norfair shaft again, and we will see you when we're ready to get into Torian here. We're going to backtrack, just so you know, we're going to backtrack through here, through Brinstar, until we get to the Brinstar area, and then once we get into old Metroid, NES Metroid, is when we're going to reconvene with you here. So we'll see you when we're ready to go. Okay, we're back in this little area in Brinstar right before we entered the second Brinstar shaft. We're going to jump all the way up into this door here, and this is going to look a little familiar. This is old NES Metroid, but it doesn't look too familiar yet because it's hidden behind a power bomb wall that we couldn't really get to. Speaking of power bombs, here's another pickup. We don't need this, but it's on the way, so we might as well just touch it and add it to our arsenal. So here we go, might as well take it. You're going to use a power bomb to blast through this next section here. Continue moving over to the right, and it'll be very apparent where you are right now. Check this out. Yep, there's the old morphing ball pickup spot. And there's really only one more section I want to show you on this little backtrack journey before I throw it into hyperdrive again. Once we go through this next door here, we're going to be in the old NES chamber approach to Mother Brain, so it'll be very apparent where this is. Only difference is now we are highly equipped and much more easily capable to destroy everything here, not that there was much in the first place. So here's the old Mother Brain chamber. The only thing I want to show you here is you can use a power bomb or a regular bomb. You can go down here, and there is a missile pickup. It's not really necessary right now, but I figure, hey, it's on the way. We have the capability to get it this time because now we have a bomb, so you might as well get it. And other than that, we're pretty much set here. So now we're going to throw it into hyperdrive, and we'll see you when we are ready to hit Tor. Okay, it should become apparent where we're at now. Think back to the very start of this game where we had this trek and we had to kill those monsters with missiles. Now we can just destroy pretty much everything. Now, we're going to go through this door to the right here, and this is going to be a section we skipped at the very start, and for good reason, because in here, this is a statue of all of the bosses in the game, and you are not allowed to progress further until you destroy them all. So hence that is done, and that's why we're back right now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, all the bosses are gone. We're going to watch them all disappear, all their eyes go bye bye bye, and we're going to go down in the water once this statue sinks down. And this is essentially the entrance to Torian, the final part of the game. And I gotta say, compared to what we went through previously, especially with Ridley, we have absolutely, well, not nothing, but almost nothing to worry about here. Although you will see there was an instance where I did make this video entertaining yet again. But you'll see more about that in just a couple of moments here. So, statue sinks down. We're gonna go all the way down, and we're gonna enter Torian here. What do we got? What has it got in store for us, as if we don't already know? Basically, it's nothing but a whole bunch of generic NES basic Metroids here that you gotta kill with missiles. So I think we all know what we're going up against here. Nothing too tricky as long as you got a good stash of missiles here. So yes, we are now into Torian. We're gonna go all the way down, and the nice thing about Torian is it is very straightforward, linear, one way. You just have to follow the map as it's laid out, and you're good to go. Oh, by the way, I completely forgot. You can't just skip through all the Metroids like this because there is a metal door. You have to kill them. Yeah, you can see how long it's been since I played this game here, or this section at least. The nice thing is, after every Metroid that you kill, you do get a stash of missiles and energy here, so that is kind of nice. Wait for them to come back, and I don't know what's going on here. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Blast, blast, blast. Freeze, freeze, freeze. Gone, gone, gone. And I think we got one, maybe two more Metroids over here. Luckily, they can't hurt us as long as we are freezing and screwing and all that lovely stuff. Okay, continue to move. Blast through the metal door. Down we go. Now, you are going to see, I believe it's in this room and the next room where I accidentally get stopped here and they actually attach themselves onto me. And I completely forgot how to get rid of them. I cannot believe I'm saying this, but yeah, you can try missiles. Obviously, it's not going to work. You can't freeze them, so I had to resort to using power bombs to get these things off of me. And honestly, if anybody can remind me or tell me if there's an easier way to get these Metroids off of me once they're attached, that would be great. But hey, power bombs are kind of useless at this point in the game other than getting rid of the stupid Metroids, so I don't really feel bad about losing them, or using them, I should say. At least they went to good use. So we're just gonna hopefully not waste missiles like that, like me. Ooh, I got 2 or 3 super missiles there on one Metroid, that was nice. And just do what we gotta do, and unfortunately, I am not playing very good here right now. This is not typical of me, I promise you. I've never had this many Metroids attach themselves to me in the end stage of the game, but hey, as I say, it is what it is. Not too much to be concerned about. We got plenty of missiles here, plenty of energy, plenty of whole bunches of stuff. We've got these annoying Zebatites here. Just go ahead and kill everything. We're in really good shape. Nothing to worry about. We're going to get plenty of missiles and super missiles back up here. Not concerned at the least. By the way, if you care, I believe there is a save point coming up pretty close. If we haven't already hit it yet. Oh, by the way, yes, this is the final approach into Mother Brain here. We have the baby Metroid, which is now the Giga Metroid, or whatever you want to call it. Obviously no way to kill it, but there is a way to get past the upcoming cutscene, as I'm sure you've probably seen. Recently, speedrunners have determined how to get past that cutscene, and I'm not even going to make an attempt at it. You can if you want to. It's going to save you maybe 30 seconds at most, but considering the pace we're running at, it's not that big of a deal if you get caught by the Metroid here. Basically, it involves circle jumping around the Metroid, and yeah, clearly I am not adept at it. I have not even tried it. It's not a strategy you need to worry about unless you are an avid speedrunner going for world records here, so don't worry too much about it. Let the baby Metroid do what it's got to do, and then just continue on over. Now obviously, if you've played this game, you know very well what to expect up here. You have energy and missile refills, so go ahead and use them, get them as you need to, and continue on here. I believe at this point of the game, you have one eye missile door you have to blast with a super missile, and that's pretty much it, all the way up until the final approach to Mother Brain here. So we're just restocking with what we need to. Clearly the energy refill is important, so get all the way up there. We got 8 energy tanks, which I feel is more than sufficient considering speedrunners are able to beat this with 3 energy tanks. That's clearly an insurance policy, but for the average gamer, it's definitely more than enough. So we're in very good shape right here. Here comes the super missile eye door. Blast it with the 1 missile and continue on through. And we are in the final approach up until Mother Brain. Just go straight down. Here is a final save point if you need to use it for whatever reason. I can't think of any time I've ever used it, but that doesn't mean that you won't have to. And here we go. Now we have these final things we're going to get rid of here. You just have to go ahead and use regular missiles to blast through, and then jump on through as it is safe. Don't worry if you get too low on missile count here. Obviously, you don't want to use too many of them because you do need to conserve several missiles, and especially super missiles, to blast through and do enough damage to force the second phase of that fight. So don't just go blasting willy-nilly. Save a few at least. We're in good shape right now. I would say 20 to 25 is certainly enough. We're right at the edge of that threshold here. Just get on through, blast through the case, do what you gotta do. You've been here before, you know what to expect. It is what it is. Go ahead, blast it, destroy it. We're pretty much there. And yeah, there we go. We are now into the final phase of the Mother Brain fight, if you don't count the Hyper Beam, which really is a joke. Now, where this can get tricky, especially if you've watched speedrun videos of this game. Obviously, Mother Brain has several different attacks that she's going to use. The most important and deadly of the attacks is what's called the Ketchup Beam, which is the red beam that has a big molten blast. If it hits you, it will take out 3 energy tanks just like that. That is the one thing you need to watch out for at all costs. So given what we have right now, we can sustain 1 shot from a Ketchup Beam. But if we get hit more than that and we go down below 3 energy tanks, the ensuing Hyper Beam shot that she's going to lay into us will outright kill us, and we will not be able to finish this game, and the challenge will be over. So we got to be extremely careful right now. We do not want to take a hit from the ketchup. We're not quite at that point yet. We have exhausted all of our missiles, but it's not a big deal, as I'm sure you know. Charged up hyper beam shots will still do plenty of damage here, and there's the ketchup. We didn't take a shot from it, thankfully. Thank God. Oh, and we're dodging it right now. That is the ugly, nasty ketchup. And we've done it. We've done enough damage to advance to the next phase of this game, in this fight, and really, for all intents and purposes, this challenge is over here, because as we all know, the only thing left to really do here is blast Mother Brain with the Hyper Beam once we see the baby Metroid do what it has to do, bravely. So, we already know what's going to happen here. This is an extremely long cutscene that unfortunately drags the video down, so we're going to just go ahead and skip through this, and we will see you when we're ready to make the escape. Thank you very much, Mr. Baby Metroid, for your service to the planet and for humanity, and thank you for that Hyper Beam very much. So last part of this fight is Mother Brain 3, and it's extremely simple and easy. All you gotta do is stand in the corner, and you can hold in the trigger button and aim straight up like this and fire that beam non-stop right into her head. Blast it so hard that it knocks her head back. There really is no strategy other than that. I suppose you could jump if you wanted to get more shots than average. It's not really required because either way she's going to go down in about 15 to 20 seconds here. An extremely easy boss fight. And that's it. We're never going to see Mother Brain again for the entirety of this run. Thank you very much. Goodbye. You're done. The only thing left to do is escape the planet now. We're going to have, what I believe it is, yeah, get that tea bag on. From here we're going to have what is, I believe, 3 minutes to escape the planet, and yes, that's exactly what we've got. Now you're going to see it's really straightforward and simple. Just blast, 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 shoot, 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 and escape, escape, escape. There are a couple of occasions, as I mentioned, where using the Shine Spark is extremely helpful. Here is one of them. Basically, you're going to run all the way until you get to the end, hit down right before the wall, and then jump up, bypass a good section of that, and that's where we're going to go. Now, there is one other area up the original NES escape shaft where it's extremely useful. Unfortunately, I failed epically going all the way down here. That is one of the few mistakes I made in the escape here. Yes, definitely more than one. That was a big one. But it only cost us a few seconds, and thankfully there's no rising lava, at least not yet. We will have that section coming up here, and fortunately it doesn't really matter that much. If you are adept at wall jumping, you can do that right here, right now. If not, just use the space jump and the screw attack to your advantage. Either way, it does not matter how you want to do it. As long as you get up and out, that's really all that matters here. So space jump, wall jump, I really don't care. Now here, this is important if you want to do the most important Shine Spark in the game. This is where you do it. Get the running start. Oh, and unfortunately I did not get enough speed, so I do not have the ability to use the Shine Spark now because, as you saw, there is lava coming up from the bottom, so I cannot go back to do it again. I am stuck doing the old-fashioned way, jumping up as we did in the NES. Now, if you're good at wall jumping, again, you can do that right here, and you can wall jump yourself out to freedom. Unfortunately, my wall jumping skills are not that great compared to most people, so I'm just going to take the old-fashioned way. Considering we have quite a bit of time, I already know I've been checking the clock and my watch here as I've been going through and doing this. We are still well under 2 minutes, so don't worry. By the way, you're probably wondering, are we going to save the animals? That's the last thing to worry about here. Are we going to save them? No, screw the animals. Considering this is a speed run, time matters here, although I know we had time. But it is what it is. I never ever save the animals when I'm going for time. And that's that. We're done. Challenge 121, Super Metroid, in the books. We are well under 2 hours. I know that to be a fact. The only question is, what is our exact time? And what was our item completion percentage? We have to have that on record just to prove that we did it. So we're going to go ahead and let this play out to show exactly what our time was. I think that's the hardest part, because we all know we're going to be over 15%. There's really no way you could be under 15% unless you glitch this. So the question is, what was our final time? I know what it is, approximately. Now, one thing you want to keep in mind, I don't know if I mentioned this, but the game time is slightly less than regular time because it does not account for any time spent in the menus or in the doorways. So it is going to be less than the regular time of 140 some. The game time, however, was significantly less. And if you must know, the exact time was 1 hour and 23 minutes. So 37 minutes under the required completion time, well within 2 hours. That's over and done with. The only question left is what was the ending we got, And what was our final item completion percentage? We're going to skip through the credits, and we're going to find out right about now. Dare Force! Sorry, I just had to do it. Final ending. What do we get? Of course, we all know what we got here. Just in case you couldn't get enough of Samus looking at her on the left side menu bar for 3 straight videos. That's going to do it for this one. Challenge 121, Super Metroid in the books. Thank you guys very much, as always, for watching. As far as what's coming up next, I have a pretty good idea. It's probably going to be a Super NES game. But for right now, there we go. 44% item completion percentage. A little under half. Thank you guys so much. See you in the next one.